Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope everyone's doing great. Got some more new arrivals for you to check out. Um, this is all classic rock stuff, pretty much. A couple other things mixed in, but mainly just some classic rock stuff. But everything's in really nice condition. Original pressings. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about what to look for and things like that, along with showing you what the new arrivals are. So a little hodgepodge of little education and plus new arrivals. So let's get into it here. Got some Chuck Berry. If you're into some weird stuff, we got the Holy Moldal. This is an ESP, so this is a little weird. Good for sampling, actually. If you're into some like weird samples and things like that, this is some good ones to sample. But I got some more of the Holy Moldals here. You really don't see the records in this part two. This is their first one on Prestige, which is usually known for their jazz labels. This is cool. This is actually a UK pressing on the track label. So we'll talk a little bit about labels also. This is actually the very first pressing of the Axis Boulder's Love. Things to look out for when you're out there buying records and checking out and see why sometimes a lot of times the prices vary because of pressings and how do you recognize them. Well, for people collecting a long time, they know, but I just want to talk a little bit about this. This kind of gave me the opportunity to talk to you guys about recognizing labels when you're out there and knowing your pressings, because that's a very important part of collecting records, especially if you're into like first pressings and things like that. So this, I noticed that the tricolor label, which this is the very first pressing, that label looks like this. So it's the tricolor label. This is actually on the first two Jimi Hendrix records. What Experience is like this, has this three color label, and also the Axis has this label. After that, it changed to an all orange label. But so if you see this label, that'll tell you it's the very first pressing. Maybe some of the reissues might replicate this label, but you can tell this is like a flat color, and on the reissues, this would be shiny. There are a lot of reissues, they don't get this flat look on them. They look really shiny on them. They kind of different paper they use, but back then it was just like a flat, but this three colors. So that's one way to identify that's the first pressing. You want to look at the labels. But anyway, back to new arrivals. Got a whole bunch of nice Stones records too. That that one. So on the Stones mono, there's different versions of the mono label that they put out, and you can identify the first ones just by knowing the labels a little bit. So on this one, this is what's called the ear label. This is the very first mono version of that Stones record. That label looks like this. They call it the ear label because it has this little ear right on top. So it has that dark maroon color also, but has the ear. So if you see this ear on the mono pressings, that means that's the very first pressing of that on the London label, and especially if you're collecting like Rolling Stone records. So you check them out. You want to see this if you want to try to get the very first pressings on them. So anyway, we have another example here. This is Out of Our Heads. It's also mono. This came out a year later, so their label is gonna look like this. This is the very first pressing label. Same dark maroon color, but the London is open. There's no box around it, and the same nice dark maroon label. No ears, because that the previous year, but this is the very first label. So when you're out there looking for first pressing on the London label, that's what you kind of want to look for. So I'll go back to here. Finally, this is also the Rolling Stones 12 by 5. So I'll show you that. This is a mono version, but I'll show you that mono label real quick. So this is the last mono label they put out on London. It says London, but it's boxed in and it's more like a reddish color versus this dark maroon color. So that's how you know this is 1966. This is actually the second pressing. They did have a maroon color for this record, but this is the second press in 1966. So that's kind of the last label they had original for the monos on London. And if you collect Rolling Stones records, that's what you kind of want to know. So they have the same record with this style label, and likewise this record, but it will have like this label on there. That's a later pressing. So just something to keep in mind when you're out there looking for original pressings and things like that. A lot of people like to collect records for original pressings. So we'll get into some Bob Dylan. This also has, these are 70s pressings, so I want to show you an example of kind of what to look for with the Dylan ones. So it's Dylan 70s pressing. It's also 70s pressing. Oh, minty, of course. That's 70s pressing, also nice, excellent shape. This is 60s pressing, second press, but 60s pressing. So the way you kind of tell is on the 70s label for Columbia looks like this. So that's like an example of this. This label, they started in 1970. That's kind of look like that. Previous to that, the label had looked like this. So the original Dylans will have labels that look like this, except for his very first pressing. There's one that's called a 6i, which these are, they call these the CVS logos referred to as eyes. So they had, instead of two eyes, they had three. And so it'd be on each side, they call it 6i. That's extremely rare Dylan to try to find with that original 6i. But the 60s Dylan, by large in part, except for that one exception, are going to look like this label. So if you see this Columbia style label, that's how you know your Dylans are the original 60s pressing. This style label is going to be through the 70s, and then they changed the label again in the 80s to where it just says red and it just says Columbia on the top. So that gives you an idea. So when you're out there looking at Dylan records and you want to see if you have an original one or not, that's kind of the example. So it's really good to know your labels. It's all part of, collecting and things like that. So this is the second pressing of the Blonde on Blonde. The first pressing had a picture of a girl on the inside of the gatefold. She didn't get permission to use a picture. They had to remove it shortly after the release. So anything that came out after that, within a year or less, they changed it and took the picture out of the girl in the inside of the gatefold. So get back to the new arrivals. That's what we're here for, new arrivals. So this actually has the postcards. This came with 12 postcards. I have 4 postcards in this. The vinyl is really nice. Now I'll show you what that looks like. So this is what the postcards look like. The original pressing came out with 12 of these. This has what, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's hard to even find the whole set. Most times you find partial numbers. Most of the time you found none of them. So this is cool that it has the postcards insert from Exile. So we also have the Let It Bleed. This is also the original pressing was 69. It's also vinyl in excellent shape, but it includes the poster, which you never see, and the original inner sleeve. Kind of the inner sleeve, the original inner sleeve is like this pink one here, and this is the poster the originally came with. This poster is in really nice shape too. No splits, no nothing. It looks like it's never been tacked up. Really nice. One of the nicer examples of the poster that you never see. Usually wind up on kids' walls or people's walls back in the 60s. So yeah, it's cool. It actually has the poster and the original inner sleeve with no splits. This is also doesn't have, usually get split by the record. So it's pretty cool. Some Bangles, Walk Like an Egyptian, Manic Monday. Got some Prince. Pet Shop Boys, pretty cool. Got some Zappa, some nice clean Zappa records. Again, hard to find Zappa records and then try to find clean ones. Zappa Mothers, all excellent. Zure Apostrophe was playing this earlier today. Plays perfect. This one's cool. This actually also comes with a poster and a booklet. I'll show you what that looks like too. So this is what the booklet it comes with. So it kind of looks like it has here, and this is the nice big poster it comes with. Poster's also in really nice shape on this. Nice crispy corners and everything. Yep, looks like it's never been unfolded. I've been in there since the day they made the record. So anyway, get back to These. What else we got here? Some prints. Purple Rain. Purple Rain actually also has a poster. I'll show you that poster so you see what that looks like. The poster looks like this. Gotta put it over here. Have space to spread it out. It's a cool poster. Looks like everything. And I don't know how people recognize this dude there, but for bonus points, if you could name him, it would be cool. It'd be cool if you know who that is. Anyway, back to the new arrivals. So, Purple Rain, Billy Preston, in the mail, Blondie. Oh man, I got a nice stack of records here for David Bowie. These are all excellent minty condition, clean. Most the cleanest collection of Bowie records. I don't know if the guy maybe played them once or twice at all. He bought them all originally back in the 70s. But yeah, if you're a Bowie fan, this is definitely a chance to pick up that final copy for your collection. After you get this one, only a sealed one would be better. To be honest with you guys, these are 1973. It looks new. This is actually a 75 pressing, so this came out in 72, 73 around there, if I remember right. So again, excellent, clean condition. Yeah. Second press Elvis. So Elvis Costello, this is his first album. How do you know? You look in the back. The back will be yellow. The back of it will have a yellow background similar to the front. And the first pressing, the second pressing was white like this one. So this is the second pressing. But just keep that in mind. Any Elvis Costello collectors out there, it'll be a similar back. It'll be yellow like that. Moving along. I know it's new arrivals and a little education for you guys. It's a fun part of collecting, you know, the more you know when you're out there buying your collections. This one's a cool story behind this one. This is a 70 pressing. This came out in the 60s, around 68, I believe. But this guy here, he had his middle finger sticking out on the washboard, but they had to airbrush it out because they didn't catch it when they first released it. So the very first pressing on this one had the 2i label, like the one I showed you on the Dylan. This one's the 70s label, like the first other Dylan. But anyway, airbrush his middle finger right off the washboard. One of those funny little anecdotal things. Shazam by The Move. Great record. This clean Clapton with Mayoff. Great record. Tom Petty. Some cool folk music. This is a second pressing. As you can see, there's a naked girl on the balcony. And Halo second pressing, because if you look in the back, they put a Warner Brothers sticker right in the back. So this is actually someone's job to go around and put a little sticker on the back of the cover to cover that up. They didn't do it in the front, but they had to do it in the back. I guess a close-up view. And Toto's first record, The Who, Bill Withers. This is a great record. This is in excellent condition. Recorded at Carnegie Hall. And when you listen to this, it's so intimate. It's like you in the front row. A great recording. I actually have a personal copy of this, so I listened to this record myself. But you put this on, it's like you're in front row in the concert. It's so intimate, even though it's at Carnegie Hall. So anyway, let me stop geeking out about that. Great record here also. Very clean copy. What you want is it's a quiet record, so you want to get the cleanest copy of that. A nice clean Stevie Wonders. This actually comes with the bonus 45 in the booklet. So a lot of times the 45 is missing on this, and so this actually has a little 45 that was originally issued with it with the booklet. So that's cool. And finally, last but not least, Led Zeppelin first pressing. How do you know? I'll show you real quick. Hold on. Alright, so how do you know? You look at the label. Know your labels. Very important thing that I always tell. So this label looks exactly the same throughout the 70s. This came out in 69. Throughout 69 through the 70s, this label looked the same. What can you tell? Actually, you look at the address. So Atlantic moved their offices. So back when this first came out in '69, the address was 1841 Broadway. So how do you know you have an original Led Zeppelin first pressing? Look at your label, look at the address. Because after that, they moved to 75 Rockefeller Center. So if it says Rockefeller Center on there, it was a '70s pressing, but it was not the very first version on it. So anyway, look at your Led Zeppelins. If you have the Broadway address, that's the very first pressing. Anyway, thank you. Have a good one. Take care.